Talk, fired up and loud. The Wolfpack Nation, we're a hell of a crowd. From the first pitch to the final play, Tuffy Talk, let's roll today.
We've got a hot take alert, Wolfpack Nation. We got my man Ethan Berry here, and we were just actually watching together his Patreon video that he just put out, which, by the way, if you haven't joined our Patreon yet, you got to do it. 3 members-only videos a week, plus our members-only rumor chat as well. Go down the link down description below. Only $5 a month here to see the video that I'm talking about here. But in that video, Ethan, there was a hot take, to say the least, here that, I think you and I talked a little bit together. We were like, man, we definitely got to do a little bit of a deeper dive into this here a little bit here. So what we're going to do, Wolfpack Nation, is we're going to give you a little bit of a taste of what our Monday Tuffy Talk live shows are all about here. And we're going to go to one of our segments that we always love going to, called our Ethan's Stat Pack, y'all. So let's jump on over to it, and let's see what Ethan's got to say. All right, Ethan, go for it. What you got for us, bud?
I've got the most important stat in sports for you, Layton. Wins and losses.
That's a
Wins
big
and
one.
losses, right? Can't get any simpler than that.
Yep.
CJ Bailey with one or more turnovers, with multiple turnovers. 3-10 in his career.
Okay.
On the flip side, 1 turnover or less, 10-1.
Wow.
Now, talked about CJ Bailey, as you mentioned, on the Patreon. And the turnovers have been in big games, right? Last year he only threw an interception in 4 games, right? Problem was 3 of them against Duke, 3 of them against Notre Dame, 2 of them against Miami. You lose those 3 games, right? And there was 1 against ECU as well. But that's 8 games without an interception. Okay, that's great. But then you turn around and 2, 3, 4 turnovers. That's not including fumbles, right?
Okay.
In those games, State's unable to compete in those spots. They got blown out in all 3 of those games: 36-7, 41-7, and 45-33 against Duke. Going back to his freshman year, State loses 30-29 to Georgia Tech. 3 interceptions in that game. Just take one of those away, and NC State probably wins that game, right? You look at the Syracuse game. That was a multiple turnover game, right? You end up losing that game 24-17. Tight games. You're going to be coming down to the last few minutes, coming down to who makes a mistake, who doesn't make a mistake. And CJ Bailey, not to oversimplify it, but it's kind of like all of this stuff that he does, and he does a lot of good things. And this is, it's the case for a lot of quarterbacks, right? It's not just CJ Bailey, but if you do a lot of good things and then you make 3 crucial mistakes, State hasn't been able to overcome those. And most teams can't, right? We know, Dave Doeren football, it's not built to overcome 2, 3, 4 turnovers, right? And with CJ Bailey, they haven't. So it almost feels like, to me, it's forget about the big plays, and which, to be honest, when I'm looking at it, okay, that's what you need. You want to be aggressive, and sometimes that can result in interceptions. But again, the wins and losses data tells me when he's able to take care of the football, State's able to win. And, again, you go back to previous seasons for NC State when they've had a ton of quarterback turnover. You look at 2023 when you had Brennan Armstrong and MJ Morris playing for you. When you don't turn the ball over, you find ways to win, right? 2022, I think that's probably the best example. When you don't turn the ball over, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback for you. It didn't matter,
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You turn the ball over. They turned the ball over twice against ECU. That was the game that ECU ended up missing that field goal. They turned the ball over 4 times against BC in a 21-20 loss. Otherwise, they go 8-4 with MJ Morris, with Devin Leary, with Jack Chambers. They won a game with Jack Chambers and Ben Finley that year as well. So I hate to oversimplify it, but again, we've seen it in CJ Bailey's career, and it feels like it snowballs, right? It feels like, okay, you're coming in and it's a slow first quarter, whether that's 0 points, whether it's, a punt. And then it just kind of goes from there. Okay, we've got our first interception. Then you turn around, another possession, another interception. And it feels like it's just, you're not able to stop the downhill trend, snowball, right? I think that's kind of the best way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you don't get in those ruts and you're able to take care of the ball, it's almost like the other numbers don't matter,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it's like, okay, you're paying CJ Bailey a lot of money to be your quarterback. You've gone all in on him this year. When really, at the end of the day, all you really need is for him to take care of the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, and I mean, it's really just as simple as this year. You know, I think this year is an interesting year in the fact of, since you are paying him this much money, Ethan, you are basically saying like there should be at least a couple of games this year that we win because of you. That
Yeah,
you are a big piece of why we win that game.
100%.
But also too, like you said, we also hopefully don't have a single game this year where we lost the game because of you, kind of deal. Now, I mean, obviously that's a harsh way to put it, but
Right.
like if you have a game where he turns the ball over 3, 4 times, it's like, okay, it's a team game for sure. Like, I guarantee, he's not gonna be the only one in that game that also makes a mistake too as well. But just it's like, all right, come on, CJ. Just like you said, just don't,
Right.
dog, you don't beat us. And more likely we'll still be in a good shape. But if you're able to go and take over the game, we're gonna win this game. It doesn't matter who it is. So
Yeah.
that's really kind of, the mindset, at least for me, about CJ going into this year. On top of the fact that this is his, you know, third quote unquote full year. Yes, his first year he didn't play the full season, but he played a lot of it for sure.
He played the
And
majority of it. Yeah.
played the majority of it, and especially too, like, against, in the Memphis game, he was great. Like,
Mhm.
you could just get a sense of the confidence that he plays with now. I mean, the Georgia Tech game, like, holy smokes, I can watch those highlights over and over and over again, because that is a confident quarterback playing against a top 5 team in the country with ESPN glaring right at him. And so you look at this year saying, "Hey, listen, CJ, the good thing for you this year, whether we State fans like it or not, is that in 2022, there was a lot of expectations put on Devin Leary's shoulders. You're number 13 in the country. You're going against your rival, week 1. Like, you should go in there and beat them by 25 and walk out there, get ready for game 2. But obviously it didn't go that smoothly. Well, guess what, CJ? Now this year, you're going into season. I think the over under is 6.5, I believe, for wins.
7.5.
7.5. Okay, I like that. So, so still definitely a little bit higher expectations compared to, I think, probably what we would normally get, which is about 6.5. So
Mhm.
expectations rise a little bit, but it's not, there's not going to be a huge spotlight on you from the front, so go and play your game, play your game, run the ball effectively. Don't put yourself in a position, where you can get hurt or turn the ball over, fumbling it, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, also too, just get rid of the football. If nothing's there, throw it out of bounds. Don't take the sack, kind of deal. Don't take the hit.
Yeah.
That's my other big piece to it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you bring up a good point about, games he's responsible for you winning, which you need this year. Number 1, because of the money you're paying him, but also because of who you lost. You lost Noah Rogers, you lost Terrell Anderson, you lost Hollywood Smothers, you lost Justin Joly.
Mhm.
There's going to be a step down at those spots this year, and you need Bailey to be better to offset that. So he's played 25 games. I said he's 13-11. I didn't count the Tennessee game against him. He did technically play in that game, so I'm
No,
not going
yeah.
to hold that one against him because he didn't even attempt to pass. So he's 13-11. The games that I look at to say, okay, NC State won that game because of you, I would look at the Cal game in 2024. He threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in a 1-point game. I believe State rallied. They definitely rallied in that game. I believe they rallied late as well. Um, that's really it out of year 1. And then year 2, I have 2 games circled where I'm like, okay, I think State won this game because of you. Number 1 is the Virginia game. early on. State wins 35-31, 16-23, 200 yards, 1 touchdown. He ran for 44 yards and a couple of touchdowns. I know Hollywood Smothers was really good in that game.
It was ridiculous.
But yeah, those numbers, like, I don't know, maybe, but I gave it to him. And then the Georgia Tech game, you mentioned that, and obviously State had their way with Georgia Tech's defense with Duke Scott running for nearly 200 yards. That was just an easy day for the offense. But I mean, Bailey was excellent, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, over 10 yards per attempt. That was probably his best game of the year. It was his best game of the year, no question. Ran 5 times for 34 yards. So there's a couple, right? Like there's 2 or 3 where you're like, hey, we won this game because of CJ Bailey. But then if you look at it, where there's games where, again, like you said, you don't want to necessarily say you lost this game because of him.
No.
But games where, like, he's got 4 games with multiple interceptions, again, separate from the turnovers, right? Because there have been some fumbling issues. But State was, again, I brought up that Georgia Tech game in 2024 where it's 3 interceptions. You end up losing that game by 1 point. You had, this one this year against Duke, 3 interceptions and you lose 45-33. Again, he was good in that game. His numbers were good. He did throw for 2 touchdowns. But again, if it's one interception instead of 3, and I believe one of those was a deflected pass. Again, not to place all of the blame on him. But then, Notre Dame and Miami, you're completely uncompetitive. He wasn't good. And the other one that I would bring up, again, the numbers look okay. I would point to the Virginia Tech game. You lost 23-21 at home. There's a completely different feel in that game. You're coming off the Duke loss. You're 3-1. There's a completely different feel to the season, I think, if you win that Virginia Tech game. A team that was bad, had fired their coach, and you have a chance to win late, and you can't do it. Now, again, his numbers are good. You're not looking at this and saying, oh, his numbers weren't good. That's why we lost. It was 26-34, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yep.
But he took a bunch of sacks in that game, and you only scored 21 points as an offense against a bad team, fired their coach, didn't make a bowl. That's a game at home. You've got to score more than 21 points. You've got an opportunity at the end to win it, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And so, to me, there's just more of those type of games where it's like, dude, we need you. We need a little more from you here. Than there are games where it's like, okay, CJ Bailey just carried us. And again, he's still young. These are first 2 years. He's still young. I get it. He had some help around him. He had some good offensive pieces. This year's different. This year's absolutely different. There's not as many pieces. He's getting paid more. There's more on his plate. You've got to get rid of those games, and I think the schedule helps with that. There isn't a Notre Dame. There isn't a Miami. There is not a Clemson on your schedule. So you expect, I think, that, okay, you're not going to face a top 10 defense nationally. You're not going to face a team like, again, the struggles against Miami, Notre Dame, understandable. I don't see that game on the schedule this year. I don't see that game where it's like, hey, you put up a dud. We get it. That team is very, very good. National championship good, defensively especially. That team is not on the schedule this year. And so I don't think you can afford to have any duds this year.
Yeah. One of the things that you saw, I think, especially as the season went on here, one game otherwise too, I would also give him props for last season. I would say the Wake Forest game was an impressive game for him as well.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah. 23 for 32, 201, 3 touchdowns. And then Wake Forest ended up being a good team too.
Right. No, why is it always Wake Forest, man? What was it? Wake Forest 4 years ago with Sam Hartman that had the easiest 10-win season in history, something like that. So it's always Wake Forest, man. I'm telling you. But so I don't know if we have the CJ Bailey player props yet, but do you feel like that, whatever they are, do you feel like that you'll more than likely take a look at his rushing prop as an over, or do you might look at his passing prop as an over? Like which area of his game do you feel like is going to be the bigger step forward this season?
I don't have any props for Bailey, at least for the full season right now.
Yeah.
To me, no. I like, you look at what they have in the running game with Will Wilson. I would not be taking overs on the rushing. I would be taking unders, especially on running touchdowns. I'd be taking rushing touchdowns on unders on everybody. Duke Scott, I shouldn't say everybody. Really just Duke Scott and CJ Bailey. Obviously, Bailey's run. How many has he run for it in his career? 1, 2, 5, 8. He's run for 11, but they're not going to be short distance, right? Like if it's, if he's running, it's 10 plus yards out. So I would be taking those unders and rushing yards is tough because sacks factor in.
Right.
So I don't really think you'd ever take the over on those in college football. Passing wise, yeah. I mean, I don't know how good State's going to be in the running game. I know everybody's pumped about Duke Scott, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as he made it look for a lot of last year. And so, to me, if you're saying, hey, is CJ Bailey going to have a better year on the ground or in the air? No question, it's in the air. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah. So there you have it, Wolfpack Nation. You got my man Ethan Berry there, finally sharing a huge hot take here for sure around CJ Bailey and talking all about that. So, but if you want more of his content, make sure again, go check out our Patreon, only $5 a month, link down in the description below. And also to make sure if you haven't already, subscribe too as well. It's free to do. It really helps support the channel a ton. And if you wouldn't mind, do us a big favor, hit that like button too as well. If that button lit up for you, that means you need to smash it here right now. And also to make sure you give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And let us know down in the comments too as well in terms of what are you most looking forward to around CJ's game. And we'd love to see your thoughts on it down in the comment section below. But with that being said, y'all, as always, go Pack, y'all.